Now that you set up your profile, the next step is to set up your gradebook. You're going to want to open one of the courses that you teach. If you teach multiple sections of the same course and you have your courses linked, you'll be doing this one time and it will automatically set up for all of those linked courses. If you do teach more than one prep, you'll be able to create the grade setup you want in this first class and then copy it to the other courses that you teach. So we're going to look first on the left-hand side of your course for grade setup and click to open that in the center of your screen. The first task that you have is to set up grading categories. You'll use the Add button. So click on Add and enter in the category name. We use formative or formative assessment. Leaving that at total points, you can choose to drop the lowest or not. If you have weighted your categories and you have this choice here, formative of course for us is 20%, you can enter that in. If you did not have weighted categories as a choice, it just simply means that you do not have this item checked next to categories here. So we'll add summative and putting that at 80%. Click that in. So you see my formative is at 20 and my summative is at 80. If yours looks like this, you have your formative and your summative. In order to get that 20% and 80% weight, you just simply need to click on the weight categories box and then enter in the percentages you'd like here. And of course that calculates over from the weight column to the percentage column. You'll notice that there are stars at the end of each row. You may select either one of your categories, or if you have more than two categories, you can choose one of them. And what that will do is that creates a default. Anytime that you create an assignment or a test or a discussion, it will automatically default to the category that you have starred. It saves an extra step in the long run. If you would like to make a specific choice for everything that you create, you can leave them both unstarred and then have to make that choice for every new item that is created. You'll notice underneath that you have grading periods and final weights. Now I'm at Cottage Grove Middle School, and so you'll see the numbers here correlate to my building. There are 6 grading periods. When I'm entering in assignments or assessments, I want to make sure that I'm selecting the even numbered grading periods. So anything from now until the end of, or I should say early part of December, which is the end of trimester 1, all of that goes into grading period 2. At the end of grading period 1, we do update a progress grade for students at that point. So in the assignment video, you'll see, I'll remind you of this as well, that we're going to enter in our assignments as grading period 2. If, however, you have a semester class, when you enter in assignments for the first semester, you will enter all of your assignments and tests and quizzes and things under grading period 3, and then for for semester 2, you would enter them in for grading period 6. It just will combine all of our grades up through that point. Next item on our grading setup is our final grade settings. It is set up as numeric, and what we need to do is click and drag down to middle school 50 to 100. Notice there is a 50 middle school to 50 to 100 numeric. We are not choosing the one that says numeric. So go ahead and choose middle school 50 to 100. You have the option to round your period grades or final grades. If you choose, you can check that box. In the controlling grading columns in Gradebook, you have 4 choices. This would be if you don't want choose to round your grades, but for a student who's worked extra hard, if they have higher than a 0.5 in a grading category and you want to bump that up to the next full point, if you include a course override column or a grade period override column, you could hand enter those grades in. Again, rounding is for all students. Override is for individual students. You'll notice too that some of these have question marks. And if you ever are curious about what the item is, you can always hover your mouse over the question mark to get additional information. I always check total points column because in my gradebook, I would like to see a column that shows their total points. Visibility settings, I would leave unchecked. However, you have the choice to check those if you'd like. You can, in a student's grade report, either hide their overall grade, hide their grading period, grade, or hide their total points achieved. I would like for them to see all of those things. Once I have all of this information entered in, I'm going to save my changes. Now again, if your classes are linked at this point, you would be finished with your gradebook setup for all of the courses tied together. If, however, you have other content that you teach, or if your classes are not linked, you're going to go up to your Copy Settings button in the upper right-hand corner. At this point, you would want to choose the other courses that you would like the grade setup to be copied to. I've got my other 3 language arts classes here, and then choose the copy button, and all of that copying has been done for you. So now if I go into any of my other courses, I should see the same grade setup. Formative and summative, middle school 50 to 100, and total points column did not come through. It's always a good idea to double check each of your courses that you've copied to make sure that the settings did make it through in the way that you had intended. And again, it looks like the final grade setting checkboxes there did not copy over, so it's a good thing that I'm following up. Again, something that you'll want to do too, even though it says it's copied, always good to verify. So that is our gradebook setup. The next task will be to create assignments to show up into your gradebook.